Hey, Grauwelt fans, it's me again, Vic Salinas, in my darkened room here. It seemed pretty bright outside, the light looked pretty good right until I pressed record, and then it suddenly got really dark. I wish I could have gotten that on camera. It was kind of cool and creepy at the same time. But in today's video, we're going to be talking about an email that I got recently asking me why I killed off one of the reader's favorite characters in the first Grauwelt book. But before we get to that, I'd like to remind everyone that I'm putting together another questions and answers video here in another week. And I'd like to get any questions or comments you guys have about me personally, my writings, any questions you have about creative projects. I get a lot of those. So any related questions or comments that you have that you would like featured in that video, please leave them as a comment in this video. Or you can email me directly at victor.salinas@grauwelt.com. I'll put my email address in the video itself and also in the description. And I'd also like to remind everyone real quick, I know these start to get longer and longer before I start each video, but there's a lot of things that I'm up to on YouTube these days, so I thought I'd remind you as well about my live show. Just did a live show a few weeks ago. Next one's going to be September 10th. At 4 p.m. Eastern U.S. time, so if you're able to attend, it's always a lot of fun. I enjoy it. The viewers seem to enjoy it pretty well, and you guys can interact, ask me questions. I get to interact with you guys in real time, and it's really cool. Rather than, not that I don't like doing videos, it's just me talking about whatever I have to talk about, and then you guys give me your feedback later. But with the live shows, we get to give each other feedback in real time, and there's not really a direction that I have necessarily that it's going to go at the beginning, and it just kind of goes wherever we all steer the conversation. So it's really cool. I like that a lot. So if you can go to those, I'm going to try to do one every month about the middle of the month. That'd be really awesome. So about today's video subject is about this particular reader's question about their favorite character, and just kind of in a broader sense of why important characters get killed. The first thing that I would think comes to everyone's mind nowadays is Game of Thrones. It's very famous for killing off everybody's favorite character, and characters that maybe you don't care so much about and are glad that are dead. It's kind of a grim satisfaction maybe from that. But the reader particularly, and I won't mention names in this video. If you're watching, I know you know who you are. That sounded kind of weird, but I think you know who you are if I'm answering your question right now. In the question and answers video, I'll answer your other question. So if you're out there watching, just wait for that, and because you gave me two questions. But this one, I just want to dedicate a whole video to. And this reader's favorite character is one of my favorite characters. Gestalt is one of Ilnel's sons, and he's very kind of a pompous character, very full of himself, very arrogant, kind of a pretty boy, I guess you could say, as far as Loa go, being kind of monstrous and canine creatures as they are. And I really liked doing him because he's very much unexpected. If you had a regal character that was a human, like a prince as he is, you would expect a prince maybe to behave like that, kind of a show-off, a playboy a bit. But I really had fun doing him because the Loa, as a canine-like species, very warlike species, they're very much not like that, so I wanted to make him an outlier and kind of do like a foil to the Loa archetype that I had made in the first place. So it was kind of me purposely throwing a wrench into my own works, if you will, and I had a lot of fun doing that. And originally there was a draft in which Gestalt didn't die, he did not get killed, and he lived on to further books. And the reason that I ended up deciding that he was going to get killed, of course the story kind of tells you why his, I won't spoil anything, why his death happens, let's say. I won't say who or how he gets killed, who kills him, or how he dies. But it's very much related to last week's video where we talked about prophecies and how prophecies remove an element of danger from any of the characters. If a character is part of a prophecy and he or she is foretold to do great things, you don't really worry about that character anymore because you anticipate and that's it's going to be fulfilled, come hell or high water. So I decided to kill the Gestalt character off, even though I liked him very much. He accomplished what he needed to. He showed a different side of the Loa, a very human side. A lot of people have written to me about this character, have told me you really put a human face on the Loa with the different personalities that are there. Although they're very monstrous and warlike, they have these human qualities. And a lot of people, they get upset when they talk to me about it because they're like, damn it, you made me like them. You made me sympathize with them. Like, even though they're terrible and monstrous and very cruel, I can see the human side of it. I understand why they're that way. And sometimes I wonder if, there's not a bit of Loa in me. People have said a lot of things like that, and I definitely am glad that that happened, because I didn't kind of intend for it to be like a darker sort of the dark side of humanity. But anyway, I digress. I wanted to kill off the Gestalt character. He had already fulfilled his purpose. I mean, anything else he did would just be a continuation of what he had already done. And I wanted to build a greater sense of danger. Some other characters in the book, the prisoners that escape, there's one that gets killed. Andreas gets killed within like the first 5 minutes of his escape. He never gets to see even the outside of the castle. He's killed almost immediately, and that's for the same reason that I killed Gestalt, is that it builds danger, it builds suspense. Then you start worrying, like, okay, this character who I thought was important, he had a backstory, his his speech and the actions that he did seem to tie into the greater story. You don't see that character is going to die. You think they're going to be sticking around at least for a while, and if they leave, it's going to be because they exit the story and not because they meet an untimely death. So once that happens, once a character that you start to become attached to dies, or a character that you're very attached to dies, then you start to wonder who else is next, who else is in danger. And I'm trying to do that with the future books as well, and especially when it comes to Ainsa, who's the protagonist. I don't want the reader to think that she's outside of harm. I never want to think any character's outside of harm. No matter how central you think to the story, any character, including the protagonist, could possibly die. And I think that needs to be accomplished. If the only characters that die are the cannon fodder, bad guys, the stormtroopers, the Loa, Kriegarts, what have you, if those are the only characters that end up getting killed, you don't really worry about any of the important ones. Once the important ones start dying and dropping off, no one is safe. And I think when you build suspense like that, your readers can't wait to turn the page, because they're starting to worry. They maybe get a little sweaty, and maybe they can't sleep because they're worried that their favorite characters are in danger, as well that they should. Now that doesn't necessarily work out for every story. I like to tell stories that are a little bit on the darker, tragic side. That's just my personal taste. And that's definitely something that I intentionally try to cultivate. So that's definitely why I killed off the Gestalt character. I definitely won't spoil anything about upcoming installments, but I'll just suffice it to say that no character is safe, and there will be some other tragic deaths in the future. I really think it's important in fiction. I've said this before, that it doesn't always have to be dark. Not every story is going to be dark, but I think it is important for fiction writers to incorporate tragic or dramatic elements, even if it's just something like, it's a contemporary story about a teenage girl, and there should be some kind of tragedy. I mean, her boyfriend might break up with her, a dog dies. I know it's depressing stuff, but I think fiction serves a really important role of preparing us for tragedy in real life. And I think that if we kind of live it vicariously through these characters, especially on a really big scale, which is why I like science fiction fantasy, and it's just like over the top sometimes, I think that helps prepare us for tragedy that unfortunately and inevitably is going to take place in our real lives. God forbid, but we all have tragedies and drama that come from time to time, and I think it's really important that we talk about those things in a safe sort of environment, like a novel, and we can just get used to accepting the fact that life is not perfect. and we can maybe be entertained by that fact at times, but I think it is, kind of serves an educational purpose as well. But ultimately, it's for me, it's a lot of fun to have a tragic, traumatic story where even at the end of the day, where the good guys win, they still, sustain really heavy losses, and maybe their life is still ruined, even though they saved the day. I kind of like that tragic hero, that dangerous sort of environment where no one is safe. So I'll wrap the video up by leaving you with those thoughts, and also asking what you guys think about that, whether you like your characters being killed off, or which characters you would like to be killed off in whatever story you're currently reading. My take on that is just I want to be surprised. I don't want anyone to be safe. A character doesn't necessarily have to be killed, some major setback, maiming, some terrible injury, being stricken blind, bedridden, something unexpected to someone. I think you can overdo it, but me as a reader, I want to be surprised when it happens. That's my favorite thing. So again, reminding you guys, I'm going to do a questions and answers video here next week. I am gathering questions and comments, so if you have any question or comment you'd like to have featured in that video, you can let me know in the comments section of this video, or you can email me directly at victor.salinas@grauwelt.com. I'll put my email address in the video itself and also in the video description. And one last time, I'd like to remind you, in this video at least, that I'll be doing another live show coming September 10th at 4 p.m. Eastern US time, so if you're able to attend to that, should be a lot of fun. Don't forget to rate and share this video if you liked it, and subscribe to the Grauwelt channel. I'll talk to you guys next time. Bye.